mean, well, let me try to get this train back on the track. Travis mentioned Smoot earlier as somebody yourself, a card-carrying member of the Duval Devout. What do you think of Smoot's return? How do you think they'll use him? What do you think it does for the defense?
Unless I don't know if he knows the system or what. I mean, I think it's a veteran presence. Mm-hmm. You got to have that, and you got to have bigger than that. You got to have guys who are you got to get your sacks from your two main guys, and then your role players can't be that much of a drop off. And getting a veteran role player does definitely help you and give you something to look forward to. I think that's the problem. But what could help the defense is that it might just be role players looking to be able to push and make that next level. If they can do anything, I think it would be fun and exciting. That's why I say, like, as much as I want to laugh and joke and bring light to some of this stuff, I am cautiously optimistic about what the season will bring.
Well, and it says a ton to me that a guy who was an assistant GM across the country saw Eric Armstead at one point in his professional career twice a year, probably filled out some sort of a card, did some sort of evaluation, did some sort of scouting on Mason Smith at LSU, one would assume, as part of his job. And these are points that I made in an article on Fans for Sports Network. This is points that were also made by friend of the show, T. Wiggs, Locked On Jaguars, the aforementioned Anthony Wiggins, right? Mm-hmm. The fact they're still here says less about them and more about the previous year's defensive coaching staff. Does it not?
Oh, they sucked.
Like, to the point.
Like,
no chaser.
They were brought in to fix a defense that wasn't really that bad. That was just, it needed some tweaks, and they made it worse. Like, you got
significantly worse.
I actually had job security before I fired a guy to hire you to give me more job security. Like, that's like one of those things where you're just like, hey, man, you're not invited to Christmas. Like, I don't want you around me anymore. Like, you lost me money. But I do, again, and that gets, so Gladstone, seeing him while he looks like a teenager. And when there's a picture with him and Tony Baselli and he's having a ball, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Tony brought his son to take your son to work day. I liked what I heard from him at the combine. I'm going to go with the fact that maybe he is an evil young genius. And he was the mastermind of bringing two Seminoles to LA. And that ended up that were fighting for Defensive Rookie of the Year, being smart enough to be able to find trends and package guys together and start to look for these things. That's my hope. But, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and not be jaded, because it just hasn't gone very well for us.
No, same boat.
So, but because the biggest thing that I think the Jags have messed up since Shot has owned is that they have at no point just got rid of everybody. Like, I'm talking about everybody, janitors, chefs, like, fire everybody, rip up the carpets, bleach everything, clean it real good, and then rehire whoever you need to do. But I think this is the closest thing that they've had to all of that. And I think that they're going to adequately scout it. But I do know a good head coach in the NFL will make you average. And when people are watching this, and I'm trying to show people, like, college, this is the new way we're going to watch football in general, because college with the playoffs, you have to watch it. Like, you're not going undefeated.
Yeah.
It's the first win 10 and you're in, typically. And if you win 10 games, that puts you slightly above average, which makes you a playoff team. If you win 11 or 12, you're gonna have a bye. If you're supposed to be 500 or just below it, so that makes you, was it 17 games now? Most of the teams are going to be between 7 wins, between 7 and 9 wins.
7 and 9.
Your record is going to be somewhere in that. A good coach, functional, will get you in that range. If you fall below that, guess what you're doing? You're drafted top 10. And the Jags, since I've covered, but since I've lived here, I think average 5 wins a game, and that's with a playoff run. It's easier to win a Super Bowl than to be as bad as the Jags have been since I've been. But what I think happens is when you have a good coach and there's no dysfunction in the front office, you'll have the success that you want to have.
Right. Doug Peterson on his own as a coach without the inclusion of Trent Baalke in that front office. If Doug was in that front office by himself with an average NFL GM, he's probably winning 8 to 9 games every single year like clockwork. Because I think I will agree with you that he's that coach who's going to at least get guys lined up and kind of just keep this thing moving without huge issue. And they're going to run the ball. They're going to generally try to play like solid defense. Like I think he's that absolutely the guy. And that's who we want it to be. And I think just the personnel stuff, the front office tug of war was eventually going to become a problem, and he wasn't going to be able to get the guys to even run a system that he wanted to run. So I'm generally in agreement with you there over on the personnel side of things. But
you saw it too. His first year, we make a run. Like they stink. Get to the bye. Everything revamps. They make a run. Second year, again, win 10 and you're in. They go with 8-3, and in the last games you playing four rookie quarterbacks or backups, and then Lamar Jackson. All you have to do is win 2 of those, and we couldn't figure it out. We lost all of them, and missed out on it. But Ben Baalke, again, it comes down to Ben Baalke was trash, and again, you need to get rid of him. And not Ben Baalke, I call him garbage Ben Baalke, but Trent Baalke was garbage. But I do, again, I have to I like Gladstone more than I like, because the head coach is an offensive guy, but he's got to be a head coach. He's got to be a manager of men. So it's going to be his offensive philosophy and system, but it can't be the same way it was in Tampa Bay and him being an effective head coach. But I do like what he did with Baker. And again, Baker could be considered a journeyman at this point, but he definitely gave him a resurgence, and he was able to do some of the things that we would like Trevor to be able to do. And I think when Doug first came, they put so many quarterback guys around Trevor that, I mean, even with what's my guy? Again, another quote: "Everybody gotta love some Cooter." But Jim Bob Cooter came in here, and Jim Bob Cooter is the quarterback whisperer. And they fixed a lot of things with Trevor. Then he lost those things, and he kind of regressed. Maybe this guy is able to speak to the quarterback in him and make him do things, even though, I mean, again, things that nobody wants to talk about because it's all positivity is, again, it's OTAs. There's no reason to be overly dramatic, but it's looked bad at times, more bad than it did good at times. And I'm not going to just sugarcoat that. They got to get that fixed. And some of the throws were awful. Some of the timing is awful. But that's why you have practice. They got to get this stuff fixed before training camp. But again, I think every Jag fan should have a little bit more hype, because it'll work out. And if it doesn't work out, what's the point of dreading that it's not going to work out? It'll take care of itself. Because guess what? We don't have one hell of a sales pitch, man. We don't have a first round pick. It's going to work out. We don't it has to work out, because we don't have a first round pick. We have no hope for next year if it doesn't work out. That's all I'm saying. So, but I think low-key, I do think it's going to be better.
Well, and let me add this too, regardless of whether it works out or not, and the name that has been dubbed Gladstone, which actually came from the Barking Browns podcast, believe it or not, when they had me on to talk about the trade and who won it and all that other stuff. He refers to him as Jimmy Stones. Whether Jimmy Stones wins or loses, does well, doesn't well, whether Liam Coen is the answer or not, whether this whole thing is great or is an absolute disaster, it's still a success because Trent Baalke is no longer in the room. Do you agree with that?
I agree. It wasn't getting better with him there.
Yeah.
I just want to know what,
as a 49er guy, by the way, I've been a fan dealing with him who got Harbaugh out the door, and now we've seen what he's done since. And then I had to cover him after that when he came to Jacksonville. Trust, I'm extra jaded. I feel like I have to put that bias out there for America to know. But
they fired the head coach before the GM, and thought that people were going to I'm not working with that guy. This guy's a GM, is a head coach killer. The only way it will work is if you do what the Patriots did. You want your guy next year. So you bring in a good guy and say, hey, man, I'm going to sign you to this contract. It's guaranteed money, man. This is a retirement package for you. Just come on in here. Just carry us to next year. And then we're going to fire you. We're going to bring somebody else in. And everybody's going to be happy. That's the only way it works. But that Bulky, nobody wants to work for Bulky. That's why Liam looked at him and was just like, no, not doing it. Get rid of that guy and then come talk to me.
Byron said the same thing. What was it? 3-4 years ago, right? So, I mean.
Yeah. Folks don't want to talk about that, though, because Byron didn't want any other jobs. But that's a whole nother conversation. But so you already mentioned the whole parity in the NFL and the fact that it's built to be 7 to 9 win range, which interestingly enough, that's exactly what Vegas has the Jaguars set at. They have the over under for the Jaguars at 7.5 games. So I gotta ask. I mean, I know we haven't seen them in pads. Trust me, I know. I know we haven't seen any. We haven't seen anyone in pads. We haven't seen preseason. I'm not holding you to this, but I want to know your knee-jerk reaction thoughts just based on what they've done. Over or under?
I'm going to Hard Rock right now. I take that bet. I'm taking that.
You want over? You taking over?
I think they'll win 8.
Okay.
I think that the Jags have an opportunity. The best thing for the Jags is that the division is terrible. And it didn't get any better. There's hope for Cam Ward, and I get it, but Cam Ward, this is not my angst for Miami. Cam Ward in any other draft is not the number 1 overall pick. There just wasn't any sexy quarterbacks this year, nor were there a lot of teams that needed quarterbacks. So you have that one thing. I am an even though I hate the Gators, I am an unapologetic Anthony Richardson fan. I've known Ant since he was in high school. I knew his high school coach. I'm the one who hooked him up with the quarterback trainer. But unbiased James has to admit what it stunk. It stunk since what we've seen. They'd be fools to try to extend him to the with the 5-year. And so that's the Colts. And then CJ is doing this thing out there with Houston.
But that O-line in Houston.
They got a turnstile that we all know. The toughest, the meanest thing I've seen
Here we go.
Cam Robinson do.
Here we go.
I know I've ever seen Cam Robinson be was to my dear friend Mia O'Brien. Who is a 5', 98-pound pumpkin spice princess. When she asked him about Walker Little, that's the only time I've ever seen him flex up. And I thought it was so cowardly. I said, if I would have asked the same question, you would not have talked to me like that. I have seen you block before, brother. It ain't nothing fierce about it. You ain't been mean since Bama. So, but again, so those are the things that we gotta those are the teams we gotta worry about. You play those teams 6 times. So you get that you go 4-2 in your division, and then you start looking at who else you got to play. There's a lot of ducks on there,
right?
And you just we're not beating KC. I can tell you that much.
Right. You open with the Carolina Panthers, you go 4-2. That's already 5 legitimate wins.
When the petite quarterback comes down here, you got to get your wins against them. The boy is a strong win is going to take him away. You got to beat the Panthers. You can't you can't lose to the Panthers. The Jags actually, the first thing I'm going to be asking for is, can we play meaningful games in November? That's the first thing. I don't want to talk about the draft before Thanksgiving. I don't want to be carving a turkey trying to figure out who we're going to get with the second round, or are we going to trade back into the first round? If we're playing meaningful games in November, that means we have the opportunity to play meaningful games in December, which means I'm going to be enjoying Christmas watching football games. And then that last game, I'm going to be like, cool. we may have an opportunity to win, to go to the playoffs up until the last game. And that's exciting football for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's where we're at. And once we get past that, we'll be good.
So now that you've danced with it, and James, it's my ego here, I apologize, but you said what you said about the AFC South and what you did. We've talked about on this show in the past. I talked about it with both the touring the AFC South general, Mike Patton. I've talked about it with my friend Travis D. Holmes here. Do you think the AFC South is in a power vacuum right now?
No, I think Houston's the best team. I think it's clear. The problem, and Houston's been the best team for a while. After Peyton, basically, after Andrew Luck handed it off, most of my guys with Boston College right now, he was able to get them Houston doing pretty well during that time. I like what they're doing, but I don't think that they're, again, I know, well, no, my guy retired.
Coach O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien. Yeah, Bill O'Brien. I think the move they made at running back is a wash. I don't really think that helps them anymore. Their O-line is okay. Their wide receiver room has injuries there, and then one of the guys that they got there is often injured, and he couldn't catch here, so it's cool. Take him. That probably helps us. Their defense is pretty stout, but I think we can. I was at the Houston game last year, and we had every opportunity to win, and we should have won. We were winning with 4 minutes left in the game, and I saw all the Houston fans leaving, and I joked with them. I said, "Hey, don't leave. The Jags are going to jag. Like it's a lot of game left, baby. Don't leave." One of the best press boxes, though, by the way, in terms of food that you can actually get. Though. So I like NRG Stadium. So. But I don't think there's a vacuum though.
I didn't realize until you just said it that now I'm looking it up and I'm like, damn, Houston has won the AFC South 9 of the last 15 times.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't know it was like that.
Mm-hmm. Like they're it is not again. It is not like they're 12-win teams. It's been like a close game. Like I mean, close has come down to the end quite a few times.
Back in the day when their best quarterback may have been Brian Hoyer or something, that's the part that makes it weird with the Texans. You get into some of those quarterbacks, they never really had a great one.
A lot of 9-win and 10-win teams. Yeah, there are a lot of 9 and 10-win teams that they're barely doing.
If the Jags can get 10 wins 2 consecutive years and win the division, that means they'll probably win the division. You'll see a shift because what will happen is the stadium will become we'll be in Orlando. My bad. We'll be in Orlando. So like we won't. But forget that. If we're able to win through this Orlando transition, where we're probably going, when they get back, that is a college stadium in the NFL. So it's designed to be extremely loud and fit more people than what they probably should be able to fit, which is why people pick on us about the tarps. It is really loud. Like the when we made the last playoff push, my son went to the game that we won, and then he went to the first round playoff game.
We were in the press box for that, so we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can hear, like, so it's not like First Coast News it's in the parking lot. But it's not like right there. It's by the baseball stadium.
Yeah, it's a ways.
It's a little ways away.
Near the Jumbo Shrimp, no doubt.
You can hear like how loud it, like that's incredible. Like that's college atmosphere. And in the NFL, that's annoying. when you're playing, the NFL's a much quieter game, but the fan base is so raucous that they crave these kind of things. And they deserve it. And I think that would create the vacuum. Because I'm thinking about Houston fans. Houston fans are really, really lovely. Like they like the Texans.
Yeah. You're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's for the questions I'm asking, man. But let me lead you to this. I know we've talked a lot of ball. I know we've talked a lot of shop. We talked about guys who've gotten bags. Let's talk about you dropping off bags, what you've been up to lately with the MFTK Foundation, man. What's good? What do you got coming up? What do you got going on? What do you got to tell the public about here, man?
Yeah, just so people know, MFTK stands for not public trade. It is a Florida business 501c3 Mentors for the Kids foundation. But if you have children, you've probably whispered MFTK under your breath numerous times. But those people who say this typically are the best to be around kids because they're frustrated enough. But one of the things I've been blessed to have had a pretty decent media career, pretty decent athletic career. And I have kids, and I want to make sure that all the kids that are around them have opportunities to be able to be great. And I think of the two things that led me to be in trouble when I was growing up is I was hungry or I didn't have resources. So what we do we've done, this will be our 6th year in a row in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and Orlando, and we're trying to add Tampa. We go in, we'll give a book bag. Actually, I got the prototype book bag right here. So you get a book bag like this. And it'll be stuffed with 9 weeks worth of school supplies. In it, and then they get a meal. I mean, not a meal, excuse me. They get a week's worth of groceries, and they'll get a football camp. So $36 is about what it comes out to be with all of those different things. The goal is for us to try to get about 4,000 kids through the different things. Obviously, you do the math. Adds up to a lot of money, but you can go to mftkfoundation.com. There's a donate now. If anybody would like to donate one bag, however many bags you would like to, you can put whatever increments you're in. If we all do a little, we can get a lot done. And I think that's kind of bump the social media, bump all of the other stuff. Really, I think the more positivity you put out to into the universe, the more the algorithm will send you positivity. So, like I always joke when people say how bad the world is, I'm like, sports are bad, but that comes and goes. That's cyclical. But my world isn't bad because I don't have a lot of bad stuff around it. So I try to continue to put good stuff out there, but this is what we do. And this is why Den Media Group, this is kind of like the checks that come in from Den Media Group go towards the foundation. So we've been blessed in that manner.
And for those who have not visited, those who have not donated, for those who are just unaware of the foundation, it is so dope. Again, James has been doing this for years. I personally witnessed these backpacks. I've been there helping them pack these backpacks in Orlando just last year. Like volunteer your time, volunteer your dollars, volunteer. At his camps when they need these bodies. At the end of the day, it's all here to supply these kids with backpacks, with camps, with groceries, with resources to kind of, just to help the local community, man. So yeah, please visit the site. Please donate. Please, support all of Duuuval, because we all Duuuval, whether it's Den Media Group, whether it's Duval Dive, whether it's, fill in the blank, Jamal St. Cyr, News for Jags. We all Duuuval at the end of the day, so we all gonna be here to support each other. This is not competition. We are working together. And for anyone who doesn't know James Coleman, this is a pro James Coleman podcast. This is a pro Den Media Group podcast. James has been with the Duval Dive since day 0, not day 1, day 0. When this was a concept, he platformed us on Den Media Group just because he was supporting, bro. So I want to give him his flowers publicly for the things that he does privately, and don't say nothing else about. We appreciate you, bro. And I want to make sure we do everything possible to make MFTK stand for Mentors for the Kids and not the other thing at all times. But yeah, man, we appreciate you, bro.
It makes me completely rethink what Gladstone said about them picks. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, you know how many people like sent me stuff and just like, you got to do a play off of that. It's all
MFTP.
Hey,
there you go, MFTP.
Den Media Group's James Coleman. Tell the world where you could be found, my friend.
At Big Game James _36 on Twitter, IG, Den Media Group on the YouTube. We have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. We do Big Games BS. A plethora of other different shows that we do on that. Big Games BS is where you can win. Every increment of 1,000 that we get over, we give money away. So when we get to, I think we're like trying to get to 7,000. Once we get to 7,000 subs, we'll give away $500 to a listener of Big Games BS live, $200 to a member. We get the 10,000. We'll buy season tickets to somebody's favorite, a pair of season tickets to somebody's favorite sports team. Most of them are FSU fans, so it's kind of easy. I have season tickets, so we can give you those pretty quick. But we try to give unique fan experiences along with unique perspectives, and everybody's able to come in as long as you can hold your own and it makes sense. We'll dialogue and we'll be able to have that. We love intelligent conversations. It's not just about sound bites, even though we do get a lot of sound bites, but that's not what the goal is. But,
I mean, you're over here talking about, good D and a good top and all this other stuff. And you're going to be surprised that you get sound bites? What we talk about, James? Come on, man.
Well, it's just some of the things like we talk a lot about. We talked a lot about Shedeur and a lot about Deion. I have personal Deion stories of why I don't like Deion. But it has nothing to do with him being a coach, though. I want him to be successful being a coach. I just don't like him personally. You can like him. I just don't. Shedeur, I just don't think Shedeur is a good quarterback. I think he's a good kid. I think he could develop as a quarterback. And people take those things and get really, really mad. And they say a lot of stuff. But the cool thing is they watch the short and they tweet it, and then they tell their other friends how stupid I sound. And then they say stuff, and then what ends up happening is those views count toward the algorithm, and I'm cool with it.
I'm not going to argue with that. With the way I got lit up by Buffalo fans on the night shift live with the black and gold banneret, and I was being positive for the Buffalo, and I just wasn't being positive enough. Okay, sure. I'm the goofy white guy. Still got your click. Thank you very much. So
I love when people tell me you could tell I never played ball.
I always think it's funny. Oh, no. That was a comment that was prevalent under his MFer and mother effer football. If those of you who haven't seen the Den Media Group, the clip, I hope we can pin it underneath this YouTube this video. It is a great, 60-second clip that just talks about breaking down football in the simplest way possible. It's basically mother effer football. Throw where the ball, throw where the people ain't, basically. And I was just like,
it was really easy.
I do remember that clip, by the way.
They're like, oh, well, what if you have Aaron? I'm like, dog. Okay, you have Aaron Donald. I have the greatest guard. Come on, it's okay. Yes, there is more nuance to it. You don't need to know that nuance because you're not in the NFL. But if you just want to enjoy the game, here's the simplest way to enjoy the game from a guy who's broke down more film than because one of the things, and Travis could probably say this, and I know I don't want to take it too long. I can't watch football for just fun. It stinks. When I watch it, I'm watching it to beat somebody, even though I don't have anybody to beat. It's the way that they train.
You're watching it like a coach every time.
You've heard me.
I'm there.
Talk.
I'm here.
I'm like, oh, well, this person did this. You got to go. I'm like, why? And sometimes I'll be in my head while I'm doing it. Why are you doing this?
But that's why I'm watching the game next to you when I hear him talking about the game, because I do the same thing. It's just you can't watch it just to watch. No. We got to know what were they doing? What was the coverage? Who was at fault? Some we got there has to be a fix here somewhere. All right, cool.
All you boys doing is
why didn't you throw it to the MFer with one person on him? Why did you throw it to the MFer with 3 people? What are we doing? I'm trying to. It's just, anyways, man. We talk about stuff like that and we try to break it down, but the game has been made unfun by a bunch of people who never played it, trying to sound smarter than what they are. When I played for Coach Bowden, and I'll lead you with this, one of the most legendary coaches in college football. And every Friday night, when we were in the team hotel, Coach Bobby would tell the same exact speech for 4 years. And it would be a sheet of paper. And I know this was a fresh sheet of paper because I've seen them lose a sheet of paper. So he wrote it down in small letters. And he would come up and say, all right, man, we're going to go over the points of the game. Wide receivers, you got to catch the ball. Running backs, you got to run. Offensive line, now you got to block the guys. You got quarterbacks, when you throw the ball to the other team, now that's an interception, son. We don't want that, okay? We want to throw the ball to our team. Now, defense, if the other team doesn't score, we win. And it's literally he's telling us this. In my freshman year, I'm like, I thought I'm playing for a guru, a legend. And then by my senior year, I got it. If I can't understand football at that simple point, I can't understand all the other complicated stuff. It's like this. If I don't know 1 + 1 = 2, I damn sure ain't going to understand A² + B² = C². Like, I got to get the fundamentals before I can get to the other stuff. I got to drink the breast milks before I can enjoy and learn how to digest that, before I can digest the defined steaks. People want to get defined steaks without getting to the breast milks first, and that's the problem with the world. So my bad.
That's right. The Pythagorean theorem, breast milk and steak, here today on the Duval Dive. Let's go. Let's go. Man, the only reason why I'm stopping you, James, is because I don't think we can do much better than that for an outro. Travis, tell the world where you can be found, my guy.
You already know. Travis D. Holmes on all the socials. And most importantly, BigCatCountry.com for all of our writing covering the Jaguars, press conferences, pressers. We'll be covering training camp once that starts end of June. So, yeah, keep it locked in, man. But what can you be found, Nash?
First of all, before I break it all down, James, I finally got up the bravery. You have dropped you played for Coach Bowden, so you'll get the reference when I say you've dropped your golden flake of wisdom earlier about a good D and a good top. I used to refer to the Saints as a prom date team. Do you know I would do that?
Why?
Because they knew how to score, but couldn't stop anyone from doing it. Anyways. So, he likes that. So, of course, I am Kyle Nass's Steer the Game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Of course, check out my ratings with the Fans First Sports Network covering your Jacksonville Jaguars as well as the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bain in the building. I wrote about that and why there may just be a little bit more hope despite losing one Cole Anthony and Contavious Caldwell Pope. Make sure you check that out, Fans First Sports Network. And, of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret. Chad Mottola recently interviewed on the Night Shift podcast, by the way, UCF alum and Tampa Bay Ray batting coach. Make sure you check that out. My guy, Don Struble with that interview, blackandgoldbanneret.com, and, of course, the Night Shift YouTube channel. So, for my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, James Coleman in the building doing a great job. Thank you, sir. Talking about intelligent conversations. You certainly brought that tonight. Thank you very much. And for all you out there watching and commenting, until next time, everyone, thank you